So hello and welcome to this Adobe Animate tutorial. This is part 2 of the tutorial and right now I will show you what we are going to be doing. So I have created something very simple. At the beginning we are basically going to have a button pick card, and if I'm going to click, it is going to pick me some card, and we are going to be working right now only with the hearts cards. We are not going to be working with diamonds and so on. And if I click one more time, it is going to generate me a different card. Every time that I click, I will get a different card like so. So yeah, this is it. This is something very simple, and later on maybe I can create some more advanced tutorials. So if you didn't watch part 1, it's not necessary to watch it, it depends on you. So right now I will very quickly show you that in the part 1 I basically showed you that I have these vectors from the freepik, and I opened it in the Illustrator, and then from the Illustrator I dragged it to the Adobe Animate, and these are vectors. But these vectors are like very complex, and it would take a lot of time to load. So I have converted them to the bitmap in the Adobe Animate, and yeah. And right now I am in the Adobe Animate, and I am going to have all of the cards, and we are going to have only the hearts card, and I have all of them on the separated layer. And basically, if I click on the card, I already converted the symbol movie clip, and all of the cards have instance name. So this is going to have red number 2. This is going to have red number 3, and until the number 10. And then Jack is going to have red with capital J, Queen red with capital Q, and so on. So King with capital K, and Ace is going to have it red with capital A. And right now we are going to be working with the JavaScript. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to rename this layer to be code, and I will go ahead, I will right click, and I will choose actions. Now I'm going to create an array from this card. So I can go with either with let, or I can go with const. When you have arrays, is more common to go with const, but you can also go with the let. But I will go with const. So I'm going to type const let cards is going to be equal, and brackets. And right now I will have to type in here this red 2, comma, and I'm going to copy this like so, Control C, and this is going to be red number 3, and so on. So I will basically have to put all of them to the array like so. There is also a possibility to make this differently, to get this directly from the library, but it would be a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to do this way. So this is going to be red number 9, this is going to be 10, this is going to be red J, this is going to be red Q, red K, and like so, red Ace. And it's okay that I have them on the 3 lines, that's fine. And as I said, you can have this as a const because it's more common with arrays, but you can go with let. For now, it really doesn't matter. So I will keep this as a const. So right now I will just hit Control Enter to make sure that I didn't misspell anything in here and I don't have any error. So basically, this is going to open me this in the Google Chrome, and I can right click and I can choose Inspect, or I can let me refresh this, and we are not going to have any error. Or you can just with F12 open this and close this. So now I will go to the Adobe Animate, and I'm going to first of all hide all of the cards with the basic for loop. So I'm going to type for, and in here I'm going to type let I is equal to 0, I is smaller than red cards dot length, and I plus plus, and then we are going to type in here that red cards I visible is going to be false. Alright, before I will explain this to you, I will just make sure that this is going to be working. So Control Enter, and they have all disappeared, and I will hit F12 just to make sure that I don't have any errors. Because this text editor in Adobe Animate is not very helpful. It's possible to connect the Adobe Animate to like text editor like Visual Studio or other text editor, but that's a little bit more advanced. So basically, when we have arrays, arrays are zero based. So this one is going to be element number 0. This one is going to be number 1, and so on. And the last one, yeah, I don't know what is going to be exact number. But what we can do is I will type console.log, and I'm going to console.log red cards dot length, and like so, and this is going to show me how many items I have in my array. So I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and I'm going to hit F12, and I'm going to have in here that it has 13 elements. And because this one is number 0, it's not number 1, it's number 0, the last one is going to be number 12. Okay, I hope that this makes sense, that when we have 13 elements and the first one is 0, the last one is going to be number 12. So I am just going to comment out this console.log. So in here I have that let I is going to be equal 0. So at the beginning it's going to be 0. And in here I've written that the red card length, I could go ahead and go with exact number 13. Later on I will put it back to the red cards.length. But I just want to show you that we want to have in here number 13 and then I++. And basically what is going to happen is that in the for loop at the beginning we have I to be 0. So we are going to have I 0, and we are going to check is 0 smaller than 13. Yes, it is. So it is going to make red cards 0, which is going to be this one, visible to be false. And then I is going to be increased by 1, so ++ means +1. So right now I is going to be 1, and we are going to check the condition. Is 1 smaller than 13? Yes, it is. So it is going to make red cards 1, which is going to be this one, invisible. Okay, now for example we are going to loop this, and the I is going to be 10. Is 10 smaller than 13? Yes, it is. So it is going to make also the number 10 invisible, and so on. And then we are going to have number 12. So the number 12 is the last one. So I is going to be 12. Is 12 smaller than 13? Yes, it is. So it is going to hide red cards 12. And then I is going to be 13. And is 13 smaller than 13? No, so it's not going to make any more action. So I hope that this makes sense. And yeah, for example, if I'm going to change this I at the beginning to be 1, it means that it is not going to start with this one, which is 0, but it is going to start with this one. So basically, right now we are not going to hide number 2. So if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, this one is going to stay in here. And if I would change this to number 2, for example, it means that it will start from this one. This is index number 2. So this one and this one are going to stay visible, but we are going to be able to see only number 3 because the number 2 is below and we cannot see it, but it's visible. And the same thing, if I'm going to put this to the 0, and I'm going to go with 12, this means that it is going to hide all of them except of the A's. Alright, like so. And if you are going to put this to 11, we are still going to see A's, because right now the king and A's are visible, but the king is below the A's, so we are going to see only the A's. I hope that this makes sense. And yeah, so now I'm going to change this back to red cards.length. Because this is more dynamic. So if you are going to have an array which has like many elements, you are not going to like console.log it to make sure how many elements it has and so on, and the array can change. So this is something very dynamic, and even if the array is going to change the length, if we are going to get rid of some elements or whatever, it is still going to work properly. Alright. And now what I want to do is I'm going to put this for loop to some kind of function, because I would like to repeat this code later on one more time. So I'm going to type function, and then I'm going to choose whatever name. So for example, hide cards, and parentheses, then curly parentheses. And in here, I'm not going to write anything, so it's not necessary to put some kind of parameter in here. And I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to paste it in here. When we have a function like so, we are not calling the function, we just declare the function. So if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, nothing is going to happen. Right now we can see only the ace, but basically this function doesn't do anything right now. And if you want to call the function, you need to write the name of the function with the parentheses like so. So right now we are going to call the function, and we are going to hide all of them. And one more time I will just hit F12 very quickly to make sure that I don't have any errors. And yeah. Now we are going to generate a random number, and the random number is going to be between 0 and 12. Because 0 is the first element, 12 is the last element, and we are going to later on with the generated number hide or show the card. So we are going to right now we have hidden all of the cards, and if I'm going to generate a random number which is going to be, for example, 2, so this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and if I'm going to put this 0, 0, 2 to be visible, then we are going to see the card with number 4. Okay, I will do this. So I'm going to type let random, and it is going to be equal to math.random. So math.random basically is going to give me a random number between 0 and 1. So I can just console.log this very quickly. So console.log random, and I will hit Ctrl Enter, and I will hit F12. So basically it is going to generate the random number which is going to be always between 0 and 1, and it's never going to be exactly 0 or exactly 1. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by 13. Later on I will change this to the red card's length, which is also 13, but for now I would like to make this like a little bit easier for you visually. And right now I will hit Ctrl Enter and F12. And basically, if we are going to multiply this by 13, it means that if the initial number is going to be 0.000 something, for example, and you are going to multiply it by 13, it is still going to be 0 point something. And if the initial number is going to be 0.999 something, and you are going to multiply it by 13, it is going to be 12 point something. So by multiplying it by 13, or by multiplying it by the length of the array, we are going to get a number which is going to be between 0 point something up to 12 point something. I hope this makes sense. I created a longer tutorial about these random numbers. Maybe I will put it in the description, or you can just look it on the channel. Okay, now what we need to do is we don't want to have decimal numbers, so we are going to type math.floor, and we are going to put all of this to the parentheses like so. So we have math.floor and the parentheses like so, and inside we have this math.random multiplied by 13. Okay, right now I will change this 13 to be red cards dot length. If you want, you can keep this with the exact number, but as I said, this is like more dynamic thing. And what does the math.floor does? Basically, if I'm going to have a number which is going to be 5.2, for example, it is going to make it to be 5. But if I'm going to have 5.8, it is still going to make it 5. And if I'm going to have 5.99999, for example, it is still going to make it 5. So there is also something math.round, but we don't want to use that one. Math.floor is basically going to get rid of the decimals and leave it with the whole number. Alright, so right now if I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, I'm going to have a number which is going to be between 0 and 12, because if we are going to have 12 point something, it will make it 12, and if we are going to have 0 point something, it will make it 0. Hopefully make sense. Alright, and now what I can do is very simply type in here that red cards random visible is going to be true. Alright, and I will hit Ctrl Enter, and we are going to have a queen. And if I'm going to hit F12, the random number is going to be 10. Okay, because as I said, the ace is going to be number 12, king is 11, so queen is 10. And I can refresh this one more time. So right now we have 7, which is number 5. And I will just very quickly show you that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So that's why index number 5 is going to show me the card number 7. Alright? So like this, and now the last thing that I want to do is make this with the button, because right now if you want to generate a random number one more time, you will have to refresh this and so on. So I would like to have a button, and with the button, every time that I will click, I will generate some card. So I will very quickly create a new layer, and I will get some color, maybe orange. And in here there is this rectangle option, and I'm going to make it to be 20, but this is like, this doesn't have to do nothing with the code, but basically it is going to make my corners to be radius. And I'm not going to be bothered with the color because I could spend a lot of time choosing a color, so I'm going to be happy with this one. And I'm going to get white text, and I'm going to type very simply pick card, for example. And I will just eyeball it to the center like so. And now I am going to select it like so, or you can just click on this layer 17, it is going to select both of them, and I will click F8 or modify convert to symbol. Symbol 14 is fine, make sure it's movie clip, and I will click OK. And now we will have to put an instance name, so I will click, and I'm going to call this to be btn pick with capital P, but you can like choose whatever name. I'm going to copy this name, I will go back to my code, and in here, below this hide cards, I'm going to type that this btn pick add the event listener, or you can just type on instead of add event listener. But both are going to work the same way for now, but I will go with this add event listener. And right now, what kind of event listener we want to have? We want to have a click, and what we want to happen when we click on that button, we are going to call some kind of function. So I'm going to create the function, but first of all I will write here pick card f, for example, like pick card function, but this name is really up to you. You can choose whatever name if it's like a valid JavaScript name. You cannot write, for example, this or something like that, but you can choose whatever name. And now I'm going to create the function, so I'm going to type function pick card f, parentheses and curly parentheses, and in this function we are going to first of all generate random number. So every time that we will click, we are going to generate a different random number. We can also put the console log in there. It's like for us, you don't want to have this console.logs in the apps. It's like something that you will eventually delete, but I can keep it in there. And then I'm going to also put red cards random visible to be true in the function in here. So basically we are almost done. There is only one thing which is missing, and that's if I'm going to click on this button pick, I am going to call this function pick card f, and I'm going to generate random number. Okay, I'm going to console.log random number. Okay, and then I'm going to say that red cards random visible is going to be true. So for example, if we are going to have random number which is going to be 2, then we are going to show the card number 4. Alright, but then if I click one more time, this card, whatever card it is going to stay visible, and we are going to show one more card. And if I click one more time, we are going to show one more card. So basically what is going to happen right now is that if I'm going to click, I'm going to generate a card which is going to be 5. And if I click one more time, okay, right now the 5 is still visible, and now we are going to have 10. And if I click one more time, nothing is going to happen, because right now I probably generated card which is like smaller than 10, and it's not visible because I didn't hide the 10, and so on. And right now there is the ace, and all of the cards are smaller than ace, so no matter how many times I will click right now, it is going to stay as ace. So what we need to do is very simple. We need to, every time that we click on the button pick and we call the function pick card f, we want to call this function hide cards. So this hide cards is going to hide all of the cards, and we are going to have visible only one card, because I will click, and at the beginning there are all cards are hidden. But if all cards are hidden and I will call a function to hide all cards, it doesn't matter. It's not going to put me an error that the cards are already invisible. Cards are invisible, and I'm going to try to make them invisible one more time, so that's fine. And then we are going to show one card. Okay, and if I click one more time, the one card is visible, but we are going to loop through all of them to hide them. So the card which was visible is going to be invisible, and we are going to make new one. Hopefully makes sense, I don't know. But if I right now hit Ctrl Enter and I will click, I will have some card, and if I click one more time, I will hide like all of the cards, whatever card was visible, and I will generate a new one. And like so, we are going to be able to every time generate a different card. Alright, so basically this is it. In this tutorial, I am not going to show you the way how you can export this or something like that. I don't want to explain something like that in all of the tutorials, because it's like annoying every time go to the file, publish settings, and so on, and explain stuff. So maybe I will create a general tutorial about this exporting, but yeah, for now this is it. This is all. And yeah, hopefully you learned something, and you can do the very similar thing if you are going to have if you are going to be working with HTML and CSS, not in Adobe Animate. You are not going to generate an array this way. There are better ways how you can. There are query selectors and so on. But this may be even listener, and this for loop, and the way how I made it in here, it's a way how you would also work. Or you can, every programmer can work in a different way, but I would work the same way if I would be working with HTML and CSS. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, if you like this video or if you watched until the end, let me know in the comment, and yeah, have a nice day. Goodbye.